This man is the nominee of the party of Lincoln. We are watching it become the party of Trump.
Donald will trump you up. Don will trump you up. Donald will trump you up. Don will trump you up. You know the words. Donald will trump you up. Donald will trump you up. Everybody now, Donald will trump you up. Donald will trump you up. Everybody, Donald will trump you up. Donald will trump you up. Say what? Donald will trump you up. Everybody, Donald will trump you up. Donald will trump you up. Everyone, Donald will trump you up. Donald will trump you up. Come on, come on. Donald will trump you up. Donald will trump you up. Say what? Donald will trump you up. Donald will trump you up. Donald will trump you up. I said Donald will trump you up. Donald will trump you up.
And the party of Lincoln is dead. It's been replaced by the party of Trump.
Which Republican president was better, Trump or Lincoln?
Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Well, speechless.
I mean, look, what that speaks to, I think, is the intensity with which the Republican base, the Trump base, is, behind the president, behind President Trump, and so they're not straying from this president.
I'm not going to take issue with anybody who supports the president, but
I'm not going to take issue with anybody who supports the president.
And I can tell you, when it started, there was a lot of focus. Trump's voters they're low educated, they're less educated. Just go look at the Virginia primary and look at where Trump won. I'm not going to take issue with anybody who supports the president. Trump's voters they're low educated, they're less educated.
How about a nice glass of shut the hell up?
Trump didn't cause the division. It caused him. He's the result of it.
New evidence that the Republican Party is now the party of Donald Trump.
Today, can see that Donald Trump has orchestrated a hostile takeover of the Republican Party.
But when I looked at it, and I can be, by the way, I can be more presidential than anybody. I can be more presidential if I want to be. I can be more presidential. I would say more presidential, and I've said this a couple of times, more presidential than anybody other than the great Abe Lincoln. He was very presidential, right?
The idea of putting Trump and Lincoln on the cover and morphing their heads together. But look how similar their situations are. In 1860, an outsider president, Lincoln, comes in. He's narrowly elected, in fact, in a three-man race. And the moment he gets in, all hell breaks loose.
What happens when one side sees the president's word as no good anymore?
I mean, I think the greatest danger, as you were saying earlier, to democracy is the identity of ourselves as a people depends upon a common political truth. And what we've got is an erosion of trust in our institutions, in the president, in the Congress, in the judicial system, because you've got different people saying different things, fake news, alternative facts, misspoken statements, half-truths, and outright lies.
NBC Nightly News anchor and managing editor Brian Williams has been suspended now without pay for 6 months. Williams' credibility had been questioned recently. On the Nightly News a few weeks ago, Williams misrepresented events which occurred while he was covering the Iraq War in 2003.
And what we've got is an erosion of trust in our institutions, in the president, in the Congress, in the judicial system, because you've got different people saying different things.
I said things that weren't true. I am sorry for what happened here.
I think the person whose situation is the most like President Trump's was Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln is fighting to preserve the Constitution. He's fighting to preserve the Union. And he's having to do a lot of different things that are very bold and in some cases very radical. And he's trying to do it in a way that he is deeply, bitterly opposed, not just by the slave-owning South, but also by a substantial number of Democrats in the North. And I think that Trump's in a very similar place.
Well, as they say, you wrote the book.
So if you think what Trump has done is better than anything that Lincoln did, you're nuts. I'm not even going to say you need to have your head. I'm just going to straight up say it now. You're nuts. You're crazy. That's what we're dealing with right now, folks. And yet, for some reason, you still have these pundits out there saying, well, Democrats, you can't go too far left because you got to attract some of these moderate Republican voters. No, folks, these are the moderate Republican voters, right?
And Shannon, I've spent this year saying I believe President Trump is the most consequential president since Ronald Reagan. But I'm changing that tonight. I believe he will be seen as the most consequential president since Abraham Lincoln. This remaking the judiciary is going to shift the direction of our country dramatically. It's going to cement his legacy as a conservative, and I believe it will ensure his reelection in 2020.
Well, Now, as a side note, before we continue, Republicans also think Trump is a way better president than George W. Bush by a 71-29 margin, which is stunning. And again, George W. Bush was no angel, truly, but Trump, incredible. There is a blinding ideology for some where they truly see Trump as the best without applying any real critical thinking to the question of Lincoln versus Trump. They just say Trump's better.
Trump is still very popular in his party. According to a new Economist YouGov poll, 53% of Republicans say they believe Donald Trump is a better president than Abraham Lincoln. To compare Donald Trump to one of the not just greatest presidents, the greatest Americans who ever lived, it sounds nothing short of preposterous, but when you match them up side by side, all of a sudden, maybe it isn't so crazy after all.
77 years ago.
Number one, I'm not stupid, okay? I can tell you that right now. Just the opposite.
Hold it now. Hold it now. Hold it now. Hold it now. When you understand, I'm in my hold it now.
Our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation.
Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing.
You have 10 seconds to then guess what is in my pants. You should use two hands. Two hands. Maybe it would be easier if you put your mouth on it.
Dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
Look at my African American over here.
Carmelo read on TV about white people getting deducted by alien, sticking all kind of hell up their butt.
I, the people.
Go home and get a job.
You know, okay.
Hi, honey. Yeah, okay, I'm going to take off my tie just so you feel
yeah,
a
why
little
not?
better.
You should have a Mai Tai while we're at it.
Right.
Yeah. Take off your pants, too. Go crazy.
My body is my temple. That's why I start every morning with a brisk aerobic workout. But I can't do it alone. Workouts are easier when you have a partner. My workout partner is my maid, Marguerite. Marguerite's soft brown stomach protects my knees and ankles from unnecessary wear and tear.
All people
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
shall not perish from the earth.
He's got me down as the greatest president in the history of our country, including George Washington and Abraham Lincoln.
No, this is offensive. Women's suffrage is the right for women to vote.
No.
Suffrage gives women the right to vote. They're making fun of you.
All right.
They're white men who are wasting energy.
We're not white. We're not white. What are you, from Cameroon?
Okay,
I'm glad I'm dead.
Well, he was always honest, Abe. He really was. Donald Trump thinks Fourscore is a strip club in Florida.
Because we actually care about logic, reason, facts. But I guess for the Republicans, it's all a matter of emotions. Oh, I love the dear leader. I love him.
Shoot me.
As Trump continues to receive relentlessly negative media coverage, despite a booming economy and outstanding success against ISIS and with North Korea, this is good to keep in mind.
And I don't know anything about it because I'm a fucking moron.
I am your voice.